Hello, thanks very much for joining me again. Today I'm going to tie you a Sparkler Booby. It's a fry pattern and it's ideal for this time of year. So in the vise we have the Hanak H250 barbless hook. It's in size 8 and the size 8 is actually in the competition gauge, and the fly when it's complete will be competition legal, so if you're that way inclined you can use it for comp fishing. The thread I'm using today is the uni thread. This is the yellow in 6/0. The only reason I'm using yellow is because I've run out of white. Normally I would tie this fly with white thread, but I just have none left or I can't find it. So first thing to do is get plenty of wax onto your thread and get a layer of thread onto the shank of the hook. I'm starting just a millimetre or so back from the eye, and I'm just quickly going to get my bed of thread down, and I'm going to stop just about 1/8 of an inch past the point of the fly hook. Take away my waste. Now the whole fly pretty much is made up from this stuff here. It's a shank that I bought from Grafham's shop. Rutland sell it as well, but I'm not quite sure where else you would get this. Funky Fly Tying used to do something very similar. So I'm just going to select about that much. So I don't know, there's maybe a good dozen and a bit strands there. And I'm going to bring my thread up to the front here, and I'm just going to snip this away. And you'll note I've got a load of material in front here and there's enough material behind. So I'll catch that all the way along the shank, and this keeps a nice even body. Then what I'm going to do is trim my tail up. Now some of this waste I'm going to take 2 or 3 strands from the waist. I can disregard the rest, and I'm going to catch that in on the body all the way back. Now I can just wrap this, it's fairly robust material, but I'm going to add a little bit of super glue. Just gives it a little bit more longevity. Once fish start hitting it, they do have little teeth that do tend to damage the fly after a time. So I'll catch that in over the layer of super glue, which makes it pretty bulletproof really. And my last turn I can catch, sorry I hope my fingers aren't too much in the way, just catching in my body material there, like so. Okay, so at this stage you want to get your thread in front of all your material. And then that creates the wing. But what I'm going to do before I go on is add a little bit more wax to my thread. Sweep everything back and just get 2 or 3 turns over my wing. So I've caught that in. Now all I've done there really is I've forced the wing to sweep back. Yep, so a couple of 2 or 3 turns there, wax your thread, it'll keep it in place. There's a lot more going to happen at the front, so I'm not overly worried about how it looks at the moment. So before I go on, I'm just going to take my wing and cut it at the same length as my tail. There we go. And I'm just going to make sure I've got a good bed of thread down now. Okay. Now, for those that have watched regularly, you'll know I pre-make my booby eyes into these tic-tac type shapes. The foam I'm using today is from Gunville Cutters. It's a silvery foam. It's really interesting actually. I usually use yellow eyes on most of my boobies, but I quite like the look of this. So I've got this pre-formed. If you don't know how to do it as yet, I'll put a little information bar up in the video and you can see how I make my booby eyes. So what I'm going to do next is catch it on using the little hole in the tic tac as a guide so that I get my eyes fairly even, and then I'll simply wind that up onto the fly. Once it's on the top, I'm going to do a couple of turns each way in a figure of 8 motion. And just get them into place. So that's looking pretty good so far. Okay, now I could simply just carry on figure of 8 for maybe another 3 or 4 turns each way, or I can add a little bit of glister. And I'm going to use this stuff, it's from Country Life, sadly no more, shop from Edinburgh. It's called SLF Prism Dub. I use it very sparingly because I just don't know where to get it anymore. It's like a goldy glister. It's really nice. Great for river bugs as well actually. But we're talking still water today. So I've just dubbed that on my thread, and I don't know if you can see, but it really does sort of complement the gold that's in the wing here. So next I can come over, just need to help separate my eyes here. I'll do 2 turns that way with it, and then I'll go the other way for 2 turns as well, and that is just worked out perfect for me. And then I'll come to the front. Oops, it's just popped off there. Not to worry, I'll just do that again. So I'll come to the front. There's a lot going on there. So let's see if it will hold this time. Perfect. And to finish off, I could use UV resin, but I'm just going to use super glue. And I'm going to dab a bit of super glue in between the eyes, and that will soak all through the dubbing we've just put on, and that will make it a really solid platform. Then everything back, a couple of half hitches, and then I can come in with my scissors and take my thread away. And this is it's a great pattern this for this time of year. What I like to do is I fish it on its own, and on an intermediate line, and throw it out, and you pull for your life and get that popping across the top of the water. And there's nothing more exciting than watching a big trout bow waving after your fly, and then just as you pull it under, it will all lock up. It's a great way of fishing, and I really enjoy doing it. Thanks very much for watching. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. First method, if you want to make them up, that's how to do it.